Hi, I wanted to just quickly cover where we're sitting with the Herald Agony Gladiator block build. It's been about 13 hours of play on the character. We're averaging about 125 million DP or experience per hour. We're level 87 already. We're working through T14 maps. Uh, just finished the primordial block. Everything feels super smooth, comfortable. Not having much issues. We did take a 30% damage hit, so I'm having to change some things. And then with some of the changes that have happened across the melee, um, really kind of working on backfilling some of that damage with the 3.7 updates and how Agony and stuff has been functioning. The gems are pretty much the same as the full build guide. Don't forget, and I'll link that in the description and in the video. Herald of Agony, minion damage, vicious projectiles. I'm using Pierce because I'm waiting on Empower. I don't have a +1 Tabula or +1 Skin of the Loyal, so Empower's not that important at the moment. Pierce is covering the needs. Damage on full life support, and then Hyperthermia. Basically got standard gear this year. For a change, I'm going with Lionized Remorse because it's got high armor, a really large amount of life, which is helping me kind of keep my life up and going. The reduced movement speed, you don't feel it with the whirling blades being instant now, um, and it has a high chance to block, which is good. Because of that, with Molten Shell and our Rumi's Flask, we have 2,620 damage it can absorb when we use our Molten Shell. So that's given us kind of almost a 7,000, 8,000 effective life against big hits. Or I find it's useful when you're just going to slam into a big pack of miscellaneous stuff. You're not 100% sure what's in there. Just tap it. You just roll right through it, no problem. For my movement skill changes, I'm still needing Flame Dash and Whirling Blades. But we've lost faster attack speed. Whirling Blades really doesn't need it because it's kind of instant now. All kind of blink skills are instant. So you don't tell. There's not much, you can't really tell with faster or attacks or not. So not needing the support. I had mentioned in the other build using Frostblink because of the chill ground. The problem that I was running into is it's not a gap jumper. Frostblink doesn't have a distance to make jumps across gaps. So I kept finding myself weapon swapping for Flame Dash to get across something. Now, Frostblink will blink you up and down stairs in uneven territory, but it won't really get you where you want to be if you got a space to jump. So it just felt clunky. It's also got a little bit more of a cooldown. So I couldn't just use it to replace Whirling Blades either for my movement. And the chill is nice, but it's where you leave. So you have to always make sure you're on top of the boss, and then blink away, and then immediately come right back because we've got to be on top of them to keep our hits up and our charges for our crawler. So it just felt like a lot of extra work I was giving myself, and I kind of like a lazy build. This is supposed to be an easy lazy build, and Frostblink was adding a lot of work. Cyclone. Cyclone is now the channel. So we're still keeping the gem setup. Cyclone, Withering Touch, Life Gain on Hit, and Fortify. However, we can now do it at 0 mana cost by just using like a -8. If I take this ring off, my mana cost is only 7, so really a -7 ring puts you at no mana cost for Cyclone. So that means we don't have to go with a Devouring Helm or Devouring Diadem. So we can just keep with Alpha Sal and we still have enough mana. Now if we were to go for another Helm, it gives us some flexibility. So you have to have at least an extra 8 reduced mana, or run the uh, Uber Lab enchant for reduced mana cost, and then you can basically wear any helmet in the game that you want. So I've been looking through options there. Chest-wise, it's possible that a Vis Mortis with a +1, because your minions are going to constantly have Unholy Might, which would be additional chaos damage, might work out. But they tend to be a bit expensive, especially a +1. I find the skin and oils are a little cheaper. And then as far as a few kind of questions I've seen on the other video, and a few that have been asked in game, and a couple other times by friends, guildmates, and other people asking about the build. So people were asking about the block and evade and how safe it felt to play this build. And the key for that is our block chance when we have our roomies up. I mean, baseline is 62%. So we have 62% chance to, on a hit, basically not be hit with no potions or anything up. With potions, we're at 80% block cap, so we're already 5% over max cap because of our anvil and a few other items that we have in ascendancies. So 80% chance to block, so we only take damage 20% of the time, but that's also, if you're looking here at our evasion, it's not great because I've stacked armor, but we have 5% to completely evade, and then if that doesn't work, then we have 80% to block that. So it feels very comfortable. And then even when we do take a big hit, or right after we take a big hit, we can pop Molten Shell and be good to go. Gives us that nice 2000 HP buffer, or 2600 HP buffer to kind of get us out of trouble, and good to go there. Because we don't need to run the Diadem, the Viren Diadem for the, and it's no longer consuming corpse. I have been running Spirit Offering, cast when damage taken, and Desecrate so that I can keep my Crawler with Spirit Offering up, which gives them a lot of extra damage as Chaos. So that's been quite helpful there. And that's it. I'm going to jump into a level 12 shipyard just to kind of show you that it's still pretty good damage. Nothing special about this map. One other thing is I did find one kind of annoyance that you have to learn to kind of deal with. And when you're doing a Legion, you have to, as you can see here, when we kind of first plow in, you can see the piece. But when you're doing a Legion, you just wanted to show a tier 13 map real quick. As you can see here, monsters have crit multi, a lot of extra damage, skills change twice, and it's a beyond map. So, and we'll just go ahead and activate here. So in general, you'll see our damage is pretty solid. Not a whole lot of issues. Build feels really safe by mapping. Like I said earlier, T14's not a problem, comfortable. Still got a long ways to go with damage. So this isn't end of build. Still need to get some my +1 chests, get the Empower rolling, get that Herald Agony's levels back up, kind of offset its damage loss there. When doing Legion, feels pretty good when working on popping this Legion here. The biggest issue that I found with Legion, one right now, like I said, our damage is a little low. Well, I guess we're going to finish the boss first. As you can see though, even with extra crit chance, multiplier, all the lovely damage mods. It's pretty much just click on the boss and sit there. I mean, you need to watch for mega hits, but there's nothing that's too bad there. Just kind of use Molten Strike or Molten Shell, call it a day. With Legions, what you'll see here is the crawler is fine on opening and unlocking bosses or the mobs, but if you get to a chest, you can run into an issue where the monster doesn't know to target the chest. So what ends up happening is the crawler is focused on targeting the monsters around you because it sees them as a threat, where it doesn't see the chest as a threat. It'll still attack the chest because we basically have an AoE with the the spikes and then the slams and the mortar strike. All that will pop your chest for you, but he's not going to focus if there's a mob right next to it, like a yellow next to a chest. I've kind of submitted it almost as a potential fix, bug fix, or at least a suggestion for the devs to work on to make minions. And I've seen it happen with my friends' minion builds. The minions are focusing not on reward chests, but on the monsters around. So hopefully they'll fix that with the Legion. But if not, it still feels good. I don't see myself missing a lot of opportunities. I've done 3 of the generals. All the general fights feel super comfortable, which is nice because the minion or the general fights have been really well done, and it's nice to not have to worry about what's going on in the screen, because this build you can kind of just run through the map, holding right click down and be good. So, I've been able to observe, learn, figure the fights out, and just enjoy the mechanics of the fight. So I've been enjoying that. One other thing I want to talk about real quick is Cyclone, and how it functions now. It's completely different, but it feels so much better. When you first play Cyclone, if you've played it a lot in the past, it feels clunky. It feels slow. It feels like something's wrong. Once you get used to new Cyclone, it feels amazing. So if it feels off at first, probably the first 3 acts I was playing with Cyclone, I'm like, I don't know if I like this. I love it now. It's just a difference. Previously, Cyclone used to work, you tap it once and you would go from point A to point B. Now you control it completely where you have full directional control. Wherever you want to go, it immediately responds. Because it's a channel, it's no longer going from point A to point B. So it just makes it so much more control. You get a lot more precision out of it, and you get a lot more speed. I've noticed my map clear has gotten a lot faster because I'm not waiting. If I accidentally clicked from here to here, like point A to point B across there, I couldn't interrupt it and I couldn't change direction until it finished getting to point B. Now I can immediately change directions or whirling blades out of it, flame dash out of it, anything I need or want. It's super quick, easy to just interrupt and move out of the way. Also means this build's a lot better at defense. If you get hit by a Shaper Beam, it's not a problem to interrupt it. Previously, you would have to just basically deal with wherever your Cyclone was taking you. This time, be full control. So if you feel like it's clunky and it doesn't feel good, just give it a little bit. It feels so much better once you do. And that's pretty much it. I think there's only 17 monsters left. So be sure to like, comment, ask questions. I'll try and get back to them as fast as I can. Sorry, this one's been a little delayed on getting my responses up there. But and be sure to subscribe, and I will see you next video.